The hard left has dominated the universities for generations. They've captured the academic disciplines, established ideologically driven bureaucracies, and put activism rather than scholarship at the center of academic life. And they've long considered the university campus their own private domain, untouchable by political leaders until now. This is the story of a small public college in Florida that's become the opening move in a conservative counter-revolution. According to detractors, the story goes like this. New College of Florida was a utopia. Faculty taught courses in left-wing social theory, students never received grades, and gender studies was the centerpiece of campus life. Then, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis ruined everything.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is transforming a liberal arts school into a conservative institution.
New College of Florida has become the new target of Governor Ron DeSantis and his culture war.
The media worked hard to portray New College as a beacon of the liberal arts. But in reality, the small university, which was home to fewer than 700 students, had long been known as a social justice ghetto. Test scores, admissions numbers, and graduation rates had all plummeted over time. For those students who managed to earn a degree, nearly half failed to find employment within the first year. In fact, the Board of Governors ranked New College the lowest performing public university in the state. Legislators in Tallahassee were so frustrated with its long-standing failures, they were considering shutting down the college altogether. But Governor DeSantis had a different idea: to appoint a new board, take over the college, and transform it into a classical liberal arts university of the highest caliber. I'm one of the new trustees appointed by Governor DeSantis, and my first official duty was to visit the college and begin a dialogue about the coming transformation. When I arrived, the scene was chaos. Overnight, someone had sent a death threat to one of my colleagues. The college's provost, a left-wing ideologue called Suzanne Sherman, was adamant that we must shut down the event.
There are credible threats out there
that
have
not
been investigated.
This is the problem at your school. You know that, right? You've created an environment in which the most intolerant, the most aggressive, and the people who threaten violence can veto you, can veto the president, can veto any changes. We're setting a new standard here.
We cannot put our community at risk.
The leaders of New College wanted to maintain their echo chamber, but we couldn't let that happen.
I'm gonna level with you. We're all here for a serious problem.
Things were going to change whether they liked it or not. The audience sneered and shouted, but they did not anticipate what was coming.
Trustee Anderson?
Here.
Trustee Bauerlein?
Here.
Trustee G?
The first meetings of the new board can only be described as a coup. In a rapid sequence of decisions, the new trustees voted to fire the president, abolish the DEI department, shut down the gender studies program, and establish colorblind equality as the new standard. The provost and a large number of activist faculty members resigned. The DEI director and other administrators were fired. The New York Times called it a hostile takeover. MSNBC called it a war on woke, and The Atlantic called it a plan to gut Florida's public colleges.
Fascist! Fuck you! Fascist! Fuck you! Look at me in the face! Fuck you! You hate me?
The problems at New College are, in many ways, the same as the problems with American universities as a whole. They were founded with a noble mission, the pursuit of the true, the good, and the beautiful, but over the years have seen that mission degraded, abandoned, and replaced with a new commitment to partisan political activism. At New College, this process of ideological capture had reached its conclusion. Faculty pushed bogus scholarship on queer theory, radical black feminism, and how to subvert the capitalist, white supremacist university. Administrators established a diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucracy to enforce left-wing orthodoxy. And, according to a consultant's report, students maintained a progressive echo chamber and bullied their peers into submission. The man we hired to save New College was former Education Commissioner and Speaker of the Florida House, Richard Corcoran. Richard Corcoran made his name in Florida politics as a master of the state legislature. The local papers called him a fearless conservative and a bare-knuckled political brawler. He was the perfect choice to turn around Florida's most left-wing university.
What we are talking about at New College is we have the bones for a great liberal arts college. We have the opportunity to bring in the great thinkers, we have the great arguments, have the great discussions, and the byproduct will be students who graduate, who go out there and make a dent in the universe.
Corcoran immediately set to work, turning over the administration, bringing in new faculty, and working on a new classical liberal arts curriculum. Not everyone was happy about these changes. During the takeover, one professor, Aaron Hillegas, threatened that if he were more patriotic, he would burn the college's buildings to the ground. Another, visiting Professor Eric Wallenberg, spewed incoherently about mass shootings, contraception, cis males, and the college's supposed fascism. And another, Nicolas Delon, cheered on the violent protesters, praising the screaming students who broke a police cordon and spat on a trustee. These are not tolerant, emotionally stable scholars. They're political partisans who have nothing but contempt for the middle-class taxpayers who fund their salaries. They believed that the public universities should be immune from public oversight and lashed out when the reforms came. The challenges facing the transformation of New College are formidable. And yet, in a single academic term, President Corcoran has engineered the beginnings of an incredible turnaround. He secured a record $50 million from the state legislature, created a new core curriculum based on the classical liberal arts, began major renovations to the campus, and recruited the largest incoming class in the college's history, reversing decades of decline. He's also begun the work of changing the culture, hiring a new slate of all-star faculty and recruiting a new cohort of mostly male student athletes who will begin to rebalance the hormones and the politics on campus. Meanwhile, some of the most militant students and faculty members have self-selected out. Aaron Hillegas, who earned the nickname Professor Pyro, resigned. Eric Wallenberg, the fascism fantasizer, had his contract expire. Nicolas Delon, who cheered on the violent protests, left the state entirely. The new students are excited about the future of New College.
I think New College is going to be a great new experience. I'm transferring from the biggest school in almost the country, UCF, and I think that the smaller classes and being close to home will be a great experience for me.
We did break records for enrollment this year, so it seems like sports brings people together and just adds another level of excitement on campus.
I'm most excited about, getting to know the student life and, joining the baseball team. I know a lot of kids on the team already, so I think it's going to be a really fun year.
This is democracy in action. The state of Florida is governed by the people, not the faculty, and not the mob. Governor DeSantis, President Corcoran, and all of those working to transform New College understand that our public institutions must reflect the values of the public. And in Florida, that means providing conservative families with at least one state university that will fight for the great tradition of higher education. And this essential work, the restoration of the classical liberal arts, has just begun.